welcome to the Lighten Up podcast with Lauren Polly, your invitation for living on the lighter side of life. I'm Lauren Polly, and I am delighted you have chosen to join me today for episode 211. Ease versus easy. I want to build on a concept that we talked about a little bit in last week's show. We were dealing with difficult people and kind of how to come out of that fight drama dynamic on last episode. And we were talking about the perspective of having ease in interaction versus having things just be easy. And there is so many misconstrued points of view on this topic, and it creates really interesting things in our lives. Not just dealing with other people and kind of our fantasies of what wonderful relationships should be, just should be easy. Also being able to navigate life. I was working with a private coaching client this past week, and she was so fascinating. She kept saying, well, I can't do anything that's just easy. I can't do anything that's just easy. I have to work for what I get. And it was a fascinating energy of always kind of wanting to be the underdog where you have to push through something or achieve something or work really hard for it because of that misidentification of, well, if it's too easy, I guess I didn't try hard enough or I didn't earn it or it's not worth having. A lot of us go into that. So I was having the same conversation with her of what if you really misidentified that things are easy when really and truly they're just easeful. So I wanted to dive a little bit more into that and to see how I can maybe give you guys some ahas and some tools to pick it apart for yourselves. So regardless of what you're dealing with, whether it's difficult people in your life or whether there just seems to be roadblock after roadblock in creation showing up, hurdles in your finances, what have you, having your perspective change a little bit around this topic, I'm hoping will bring more ease to it. So the ease is really that sense of ooze and relaxation, of non-fight. There's a sense of space, of relaxation, and there's also a sense of action, of easy action, because you're not really fighting or pushing against anything. It's really the ability to be met with someone who is in so much drama and upset and being able to have total ease in yourself, in your own space, where you can deal with it and you can move on. You don't have to carry it with you. It's also on the creative path, the money path, the business path of being able to have so much ease that you're able to navigate when things don't go your way. And that may be kind of the biggest crux point that we want to get into is that when things don't go your way, a lot of us will go into wrongness of well, it's not easy anymore, so I guess I shouldn't do it. Well, the relationship isn't easy anymore, so I guess I should just leave. Or, wow, this business isn't really working anymore. It's not easy finding clients, filling up my roster, what have you, so I guess I should just give up. What if that is one of the main ways you've been self-sabotaging your creative potency and power is this lie of having things be easy instead of just identifying that it may not be easy right now, but you know what? I can still have ease and navigate and move through it. This lie of easiness usually comes from, again, that fantasy perspective that things should just work all the time, that no one should ever get in your way, that there should never be a mess up with your finances, there shouldn't be a down month in your business, everything should just keep getting greater, your relationship should just be amazing all the time, you should always be in sync with your partner. The list goes on and on and on. There's so much that we have in our world about what easy looks like, what it feels like, and more importantly, what it means that we're successful, that we're actually going somewhere and moving forward. And guess what happens with that? When you have that perspective and life happens, we all know this, things don't always go our way. There's difficult people we have to deal with, difficult situations. There's growing edges even where we're still moving forward, but we just hit the outer boundary of what we've been and done before. Those are not easy things to move through. They're quite uncomfortable. I've been through many of those. And those of you who've read my multi-award winning book know that just through my own inner journey with a bipolar diagnosis, but also writing a multi-award winning book, putting myself out there in the media and the public eye. by building an international business. That took growing edges. It was not easy. But utilizing these tools and being able to piecemeal out where I was going into, it should be easy and it's not right now, I need to quit or move away from it, versus me going, wow, this is an uncomfortable space. Things aren't really working the way I desire them to. I wonder how I can have ease navigating through this to the other side. It is a very different perspective. So I don't want you to go, well, it's only in the down times that I'm actually going into this. It could also be your growing edges that you're hitting too, and backing off the personal growth, not to mention the success you could be having as a result of it. That lie at things are easy, meaning that everything's working, I'm successful, is actually going to have you backing off of those growth points that could actually push you into greater. So, how do you actually misidentify this in terms of what you're choosing to create in your life? The client I was working with this week actually always chooses the hard path because she had that thing from her upbringing that, if things are too easy for you, then it shouldn't actually work. It's not worth having. You didn't work hard enough, therefore you didn't deserve it. All of these are interesting points of view that get interwoven in our psyche as we grow up. It gets interwoven in our cognitive patterns, our behavior patterns, our energetic patterns. Occasionally you will meet somebody who actually just has one of those ease-filled lives where it's just like boop, 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 and off they go. But there's a lot of people out there that actually seek out the struggle. They want to climb that tough hill to then finally be able to look what I just did. That's another kind of misidentification of easy. That easy is a wrongness. And what gets looped into that is that easefulness is a wrongness as well. That person will never actually have ease, meaning they can just navigate things without losing themselves with a sense of possibility, because in their mind they've looped it together with easy and they've made easy wrong. So you can see these two different perspectives and look for yourself. Where have you made easy the right thing, meaning everything is just hunky-dory, always works, and if it's not that way, something's wrong and you got to shift or give up? Or where you've made easy wrong because it's not worth having, you didn't deserve it, you didn't work hard enough, what have you, and therefore you're taking the hard path and negating the ease that you could have. So this word easy is so fascinating. Depending on your perspective, you may be going into one, the other, or both at different times. What would it take to allow yourself to unwind that? And anytime you hit a rough patch where you want to give up, or where you're making a choice point of which way should I go and you're getting drawn to that hard path, go, okay, wait a second. If I wasn't reacting to what was easy, but if I was choosing what was easeful to me, where would I go? Having ease along your path is something that's truly innate to you as an infinite being. As a conscious being, as someone who is actually here on this self-growth journey, choosing what's easeful, not easy, actually will continue to lead you into greater. It will allow you to actually start maneuvering those little bumps and those roadblocks that you go into. And it will also allow you to steer your life in a more easeful, probably generative, creative direction, because you're not going to be choosing the hard part constantly. And ease is a fascinating thing. I think we all have a different perspective of what that looks like and feels like. Not from a definition point of view, like what easy is, look for that for a second. What is easy for you? When things work, when people like me, when I get an A on a test. I mean, there's all these kind of things that we've looped together, what was easy for us. But if you actually start to look at what would be easeful for you from a body perspective, from a greater being perspective, from a living perspective, you may actually get some awareness of different qualities that come. For me, I actually really love the energy of relaxation. I love being able to kind of take it down a notch where a lot of times I'm high energy. There's a lot of outflow in my world. There's a lot of creativity of putting things out. Also, my career as a speech pathologist, I'm very verbal. A lot of my a lot of my world is built around self-expression. Even my coaching business is really built around that. I love the energies of actually having more of an inward flow and a relaxation and a receiving. And for me, that actually brings a sense of ease. So even when I'm dealing with people and talking all day, coaching or at work, even when I'm putting something out into the world, like a podcast, a book, whatever, when I'm expressing myself, having that inner flow, that receiving and that relaxation actually brings a sense of ease. So as I'm moving out, I'm also being able to move in. That for me is something that is a quality that I've discovered that goes with the ease from my perspective, from my bigger being perspective. So I just invite you to actually start looking at your life and going, okay, in the morning when you wake up, what would it take to have ease today? When you walk into a difficult situation, what would it take to have ease here? What would that be like for me? And start becoming aware of how your body feels, how your interactions go, the qualities that are actually showing up, the energies that are showing up. That will give you real information to actually start guiding your life forward. And adding on to that, as you're on this discovery path of what ease is for you, because it may not be what it is for me, hardly ever is, I'd like you just to keep your eyes on where you're going into the definition of easy and where you're making easy right or where you're making easy wrong. And if it wasn't about that, but if it was about the ease in navigating and flowing through and pushing your growing edges so that you can continue to become more aware, more self evolved, and be able to actually express yourself more and receive more, what could that be and what could that open up? This conversation I had with a coaching client, it was really into the easy as wrong conversation. So she really needed to push her growing edges of, okay, I think that's easy and I'm trying to choose away from it. I want to make it harder. But what if I've misidentified that and it's actually just ease? There's a sense of relaxation, of opening, of interest, and easy movability. Okay, I'm going to choose that. A different conversation I'd have with someone who's actually really invested in easy as right, meaning they give up all the time when they hit a roadblock, would be to stop yourself right before you're about to give up. Right before you're about to back down off that growing edge or give up on a relationship, whatever. Right when you're about to withdraw and walk away, go, oh, wait a second. Am I stuck in the easy thing right now? Trying to make easy right and what I've just decided it is. And because it's showing up different and not a match for that, look at me trying to withdraw and back away. I wonder if I chose what was easeful right now and allowed myself to be here, be present with it, and maneuver through it with this person. Have that difficult conversation. Have that thing where I'm about to put something out into the world and I'm feeling really uncomfortable and vulnerable. Okay, wait a second. What's easeful for me to be able to launch this and actually feel good about it? Having these kind of things in your awareness of where the easy is stopping you, taking you down the hard part or stopping you from moving through the hard part is going to actually give you more creative mobility and give you a greater sense of yourself. And then that discovery, that delicious discovery of what is easeful for you. What are the qualities? What does your body feel like? What does your mind feel like? What is the creative mobility in your world when you choose? It is a learning path. It is something that is an exploration. Put your detective cap on and go for it. This is something that will actually start letting you navigate your life with more ease. And really and truly, that's what it's all about. No matter what crosses your path, you're able to maneuver it with elegance and with ease and with yourself intact. Have fun playing with this. Please dive in. Listen again if you can. You can always reach out to me at lauren@laurenpolly.com. If you're interested into some one-to-one coaching with a free sit down with me to dive into this deeper, you can apply for that at laurenpolly.com/apply. Have an amazing week, and as always, I will chat with you next Tuesday.